So that took care of my ant problem. What I do in the summertime, I freeze my water overnight in gallon jugs. I take it out in the morning about 9 o'clock. And by the time I leave at 11 and start getting to my stops, it's already unthawing. And then, they have really, really cold water, almost like a slushy. So I know by the time, the day progresses and goes on, even a couple of hours, that water is still going to be cold because when I poured it, it was like a frozen slushy. Yeah. So the flies became a really, really bad problem this summer. But I had got this product and I can't remember the name right now. I want to say it's called Telstar. I ordered it from a website. Orkin pest control guy told me about it. What it does is you mix it with water. You buy your sprayer and you just spray around your home or anything like that, and it repels flies, mosquito, any kind of bugs. And basically what I do at some of my colonies that's like in wooded areas, I'll mix up a gallon of that and I'll just spray it all around the wooded area. And the good thing about it too is not poisonous to cats or dogs. The research I did, it would only affect a very small animal such as a rat or something like a mouse. So what I do, I spray it around. I make sure all the cats are not around. I take the food bowls, I put them on my car, and I'll spray around their feeding stations and around the warming houses. I spray basically a barrier around the whole place, and I may use that whole gallon. And I've noticed that it doesn't last a month, but I will have fly relief for maybe a week. I've noticed that, and that's better than nothing. Yeah. Because sometimes I've come to some of my stops and I pull the bowl out from the plastic bin, the feeding station, and there's 100 flies that just fly out. And I've noticed since I started using this, and I spray up under the plastic bin, and I'll spray the top and the sides of the plastic bins. I'll spray inside. I'll make sure the cats stay away for about 20 minutes until it dry. Sometimes I may see 4 or 5 flies around the whole area where there was hundreds. So that stuff has been a game changer for me.
It sounds really useful.
It is.
Yeah, because you have a lot of you don't want maggots and things as well in the food.
Yeah.
And what advice would you give for setting up of beds to keep them dry? So you have these insulated little, is it polystyrene houses that you use with straw?
Say that again now.
For the little cat houses, so you use this, is it styrofoam houses that you use with straw?
Yeah, styrofoam. I get them from these ladies here. The Animal League of Birmingham. They make them for the cats every winter. So I get them from there. But it's basically like really big styrofoam coolers that they cut a hole in, and they put straw. You're supposed to use straw, not hay. Mm-hmm. Hay doesn't retain the heat, and if hay gets wet, then it's just nasty and yucky. Straw will dry out, and straw retains heat. So in the winter, when they're in there, it'll retain some of the heat. What I've started doing with some of the big ones, I started cutting another small hole like in the back. So if a predator does come, that cat is not stuck in there and has no escape route. So they usually cut one hole in the front, which is fine. But what I've started doing, once I get them from them, I'll cut another hole in the opposite side of the back. So, if something comes up, that cat is not just stuck in there. He or she could escape through that hole in the back.
So it's a safe house as well then?
Yeah. I mean, I pull up all the time and see their little heads in there. They love them. You know, when it's raining, and that's it's probably one of the happiest sights I get from doing this. When I pull up and it's raining and I see their little heads just sitting there, and, you know, I know they're warm and dry. So that makes me real happy.
Can you tell me a little about the story of Wrinkles, the dog?
Wrinkles. It was a Friday evening. It was a Friday evening and I was out feeding. There was no reason for me to get off the freeway where I did. It made no logical sense. I mean, to be honest, it would be insane. I was headed home. I had just finished my last stop. So by freeway, it would take me another 20 minutes by freeway to get to my exit. 20 minutes. That's nonstop. No lights. I'm on the freeway. That's still 20 minutes. To get off on the Bessemer Superhighway, where I would have to go through light after light after light, I just added another 25 minutes onto that. So I turned a 20-minute drive getting home into a 45-minute drive getting home. It made no sense, especially after feeding all those locations and ready to get home and shower and be with my boys. So I don't know what it was. Well, yes, I do. God told me to get off on that exit. And in the beginning, I'll never forget, I didn't hear the voice. You know, it wasn't like, Calvin, get off. It wasn't like that. You know, you get this little feeling inside, get off. And I kind of said to myself, man, I ain't finna get off. I'm not. That's stupid. And I was going to continue to go. As I was approaching the exit, I kind of felt the feeling inside of me saying it a little louder, get off. So I got off. I obeyed and I got off. And as soon as I got off and I made the right turn on the Bessemer Superhighway, there was Wrinkles. He was in the middle of the 4-lane highway. The Bessemer Superhighway. Cars was honking at him. He was confused. He was running side to side. I stopped traffic, put my hazards on. I had some cat food with me. I lured him. Now people are cursing at me. You know, people are cursing. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
My phone was saying low battery. I'll charge. I put it on the charger. People were cursing at me and screaming at him. And I lured him to the side of the road. And then I moved my car. So I got him in this little grass field and I just started feeding him. I gave him a can of cat food and I gave him some dry cat food. Didn't have any dog food with me. So he ate that and he was starving. But then he was trying to run away and I would have to keep calling him. So I sit out there and I started recording that. And basically it took about 20 minutes and I was able to get a leash on him. And once I got a leash on him, picked him up and I noticed he had a fever. He was like really, really hot. And as you've seen him in the beginning, he was basically, the hair was like missing from like 90% of his body. You could tell he was in rough shape. Mm-hmm. So I picked him up and put him in a car and I called a friend of mine who had fostered for me before, another dog. And I took him to her house. Her and her husband gave him a bath. And they crated him and they fed him dog food. The next morning at 9 a.m., I was there. I went and got him and I took him to my vet. And he said he had a very high fever. They started him on some fluids and antibiotics. He had a really, really severe case of mange, which they treated. And basically, I reached out to a rescue here, a dog rescue, and they sent the foster out to meet me there because he stayed over the weekend. I took him Saturday morning, stayed over the weekend. I think that Monday their foster met me there and they took him in and he got a home with a loving couple and he's doing great. Hair grew back and you don't even look like the same dog.
He has a really thick, black, shiny coat now.
Black, shiny, yeah. I mean, it doesn't even look like the same dog.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing what love can do.
So do you tend to keep in touch with your rescuers and the adopters of your animals?
A lot of them I do. I would say about 85% I do. Some things happens and you lose contact with them and, but for the majority, I still do.
Okay. Now, for the benefit of the listeners, I want to fill them in on the news that you recently purchased a new home, which is Noah's Ark.
Black Noah's Ark.
Black Noah's Ark.
Yeah, we got to give props to the real Noah now. Can't confuse the two.
Black Noah's Ark.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make him proud.
So the sole focus of your purchase of this home is to turn it into a base to allow you to rescue and save more animals. So first of all, I want to say congratulations to you. It's been exciting for me to see the progress that you've been making. You've been doing a lot of adaptations on the house, bit by bit, to make it more functional for your animals. What did it feel like for you to achieve this dream?
I've had that question asked so many times, and I'm going to answer it the same way I answered to them. I felt nothing. Stuff like that doesn't excite me. Only thing I'm happy for is the animals.
Yeah.
I got Mama. Are you familiar with Mama and Kitty Boy?
I was going to come on to them in a second.
Okay, well, I'll let you come on in. To see them every morning at 6:30, just walking down the stairs instead of me having to get in the car, drive, and you saw the story, so you followed. Mama missing for 4 days, Kitty Boy missing, me worried. Now they're right there. Last night it was a bad storm here, and they both laid out on their little hammocks. I stood in that door and teared up watching Mama and Kitty Boy laid out. Thundering and lightning is pouring. And I stood in that door for about 5 minutes after I had fed everybody and just watched them. Like, that part means the most to me.
Yeah.
As far as for me personally, stuff like this doesn't excite me. Like, I don't know. I'm just a simple person. I can live in a mansion, or I can live in a tent. I can survive off bread and water, or I can survive off lobster and steak if I ate meat. So material stuff doesn't excite me, but I'm happy for the place for them. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does, definitely.
I was perfectly fine where I was, me and my 4 boys. But I didn't have any room, so I was always having to rely on fosters. I'll still need fosters because it's not like this is the Taj Mahal or anything. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cats that's off the streets downstairs, and they're not all just cluttered. Mama and Kitty Boy has their own room. Bleep, Cole, and Rashini have their own room. Blackie and Lamar and Brittany, they have a huge garage that's, has heat and air. So it's, they're spaced out and they're not just all in one room, a little small room. So that part of it is pretty nice. I love that part. It was plenty of nights where I would get a kitten that was sick and I would have to, it's 9:00 p.m. and I'm having to scramble to call a foster, and now I don't have to worry about that. If I run into a cat that's sick, boom, trap them, bring them here. So that's a stress reliever.
So you have more possibilities and you've got more space to take in more cats.
Absolutely.
More freely than having to depend on other people.
Absolutely.
So can you tell our listeners the story of Mama and Kitty Boy so that they understand where they came from, what you did with regards to the colony, where they came from?
Oops. What did I do? Okay, I'm sorry. So Mama and Kitty Boy. I'm gonna plug my phone in. Mama and Kitty Boy basically. Okay, so there was a colony. There was a small family of. There was a small family of a mama and 3 kittens at a restaurant where I lived at. And so I had fed this mom and her 3 kittens for a while, and really, really cold. And basically, and this is all on Instagram too. Basically, a friend and her daughter showed up one morning. I said, today is the day I got to get these cats. Like, I think we was going to have one of our coldest days here. It was going to drop down to like 15 degrees that January. So I said, today I'm getting these cats. I got to, even though they had warming houses, things of that nature. And the mom, the kittens were about, I'll say 3 months old. I had first discovered them just by going to the restaurant to buy some fried pickles. And I was going to buy some fried pickles, and I saw them by the dumpster, and I had started feeding them. That's how I started feeding them. But this particular day, I was like, I got to get these cats. I was successful in trapping the mom as well as all 3 kittens. And they went home to live with this lady and her daughter, and they're still there. Now, on that occasion, got the mom, got the kittens. They're now off the streets. They're inside of a friend's house. The next day, I went to get all of my bowls, as well as my warming house, because that could be used at another stop. So I went to get all of my bowls and sanitize them real good and clean the plastic bins out that could be used at another location. I see this calico. I'm like, wait, I fed this mom and the kids for a couple of months. Where does calico come from? So I'm like, okay, I might as well leave this stuff because didn't expect her to be here. And so it was Mama. So Mama had been hiding under the radar for months, had never seen her, only knew of this other mom and her 3 kittens. But there was Mama. And so Mama started feeding Mama. And it was only about a week that went by and Mama just disappeared. And I was like, okay. And so when she showed back up, I noticed she was a little smaller. So I said, that cat done had some kittens. And I did not want to trap her in because if she just went off and had some newborns, they needed her. So to make a long story short, Mama had Kitty Boy, Kitty Girl, and another one that I had named Darlene. Darlene disappeared on me after a while. I don't know what happened to her. She went missing, and I prayed about it, and she showed up the next day. And then I never seen her again. So that left Mama, Kitty Boy, and Kitty Girl. So before I could trap them, Kitty Girl, the white and gray one, we found her because this was at a very busy location, by a very busy interstate. We found her hit. I found her hit. And, I buried her. So that left Mama and Kitty Boy. I'm like, I'm not letting nothing happen to these two. So I continued to feed them, but I didn't have a place to take them. And I forgot. Mama had a second litter that was after Kitty Boy and Kitty Girl. So these little kittens, well, some guys told me that there was a black cat at the church across the creek. I never had no reason to go over there, so didn't know it was a black cat over there. I'm assuming that was the dad. So make a long story short, after Kitty Girl had been hit by a car. So to make a long story short, now I'll sum this up. To make a long story short, Mama had another litter. And one day I saw them. I saw she was taking them into this ditch. And so basically it was 4 cats, 4 kittens. They were young. They were like maybe 7 weeks old, 8 weeks. So I went down, got them a foster home. All of them tested positive for feline leukemia. They went to a great foster. The foster that has, if you've seen the story with Elijah recently, Julia, the wonderful lady, they went to her. She has them. One of them passed. Feline leukemia is a difficult monster. So we basically knew that Kitty Boy and Mama was going to be feline leukemia positive as well, because all 4 kittens had it. So we kind of expected that. So, I said, once I got this place, I kept telling people on the videos leading up to me getting it, they'll be the first rescues. They're going to be the first. And as soon as we signed the paperwork and we closed on it, I trapped them that day. Like I've been telling you guys, as soon as I got a place for them, they're off the streets. I've been telling you guys for months, I'm saving these 2 right here. They are not living their lives out here anymore. As soon as we closed, I left the meeting. Family wanted to celebrate. I'm like, I got work to do. I got a mama and a Kitty Boy that feline leukemia positive. I ain't got time to celebrate. And actually, I missed the celebration because I had work to do. So you guys can go be happy. I'll be there in spirit, but I got to get these 2 cats. And that's what I did. I took them to the vet. Of course, they ended up being feline leukemia positive, as expected. I boarded them for about a week there until, we got everything ready here. And they've been here ever since. And the big surprise was Kitty Boy actually ended up being a girl.
You kept the same name.
But because I had been calling him Kitty Boy for so long, for almost a year, I just decided to keep the name. I mean, she responds to it. Yeah. So I wasn't going to change it. So, hey.
So do you think you'll keep them, or will you eventually look for a home for the 2 of them?
They'll stay here. They'll stay here till they die or I die. One of the 2.
So you've fallen in love with them, really?
Of course, I love all the animals I feed, rescue, but those two, they're really special to me.
Yeah.
But I guess because I was feeding them, they were so close to my house. They were 5 minutes away by car. So they were my first stop coming out and my last stop coming back in. So they actually got fed twice, where everybody else just got fed once a day. So they actually got fed twice. So hence the weight Mama would gain and yeah.
But you still go back there, don't you? Because don't you feed a raccoon that still lives around?
Every single day. When I leave here, that's the first stop. That's the first stop because it's the farthest. That's a 45-minute drive from where I live now. So I'll drive 45 minutes there and I'll put food out for the raccoon. And as long as the food continues to be gone the next day, I continue to go. So he got to eat too. That's how I look at it. He was there. I saw him and recorded him many nights there with Mama and Kitty Boy. So just because they're gone and there's no more cats there, he's there. And as long as I know he or she is there, I'll continue to feed.
How does it feel to have, apart from the raccoon, how does it feel to have an empty colony, to know that you've done enough work to clear that area of these cats living outside rather than a home?
Probably one of the most special moments, proudest moments in my life, to know that I dealt with that area, that location for 2.5 years with the family that was before Mama, Kitty Boy. And then Mama coming up after I get this family out of there, and then dealing with Mama and Kitty Boy for a whole year. And now to pull up and no cats there. Yeah, that's a good, and you know, that's a good feeling. And you know that they're at Julia's house, her babies are at Julia's house, and then her and Kitty Boy are downstairs. That's a good feeling. Real good feeling.
What would you tell our listeners about the importance of sterilization and TNR, which is trap, neuter, return, with the difference it makes to a cat's life?
And the most important thing I feel you can do. TNR is huge. It's important because it stops suffering. I often tell people all the time, I would much rather not be doing this if it was possible.
Mm-hmm.
If there was no straying feral cats, I would be all right with it, you know. Not because I don't want to do it or continue to do it or burning out or getting lazy. I just would prefer there be no stray cats and feral cats. So TNR is important. You know, it cuts down on the population of new kittens, like the newborns I just found last week, like the colony of 7 with, you know, me and my nephew found a few days ago, and you know, we see eye infections. First time pulling up, just happened to stop to get water and saw a little kitten, 2 little kittens, and we walked closer to investigate. They were behind a gate that we couldn't get to them. You know, several of them, you know, kittens, they're prone to have eye infections. So TNR would stop a lot of that. You know, it would stop a lot of cats being hit by cars and just the suffering in general. And it's just healthier for the colony cats because they don't have litter after litter after litter and, you know, damaging the mom's body. And it's just important. It's the most important thing you can do to help a cat is get them spayed and neutered or neutered. You know, it's just important to get them spayed or neutered because it just helps tremendously, you know, cut down on diseases and things of that nature and fights. And like I say, what I hate to see most, you know, kittens with the little eye infections when you find them. And what I absolutely hate most is when I'm riding and I just see a cat that I've never been in that area before, and I see a cat in the street dead, you know, and if someone with a TNR, their pet, you know, that cat wouldn't be in that position. So it's very important. So people, please spay and neuter your cats, please.
What are your hopes for the future of your mission, especially now that you've got the facilities in place to do more than you could do before?
We got something coming, and I can't speak on that now, but that's what we got coming. It's going to be huge. It's going to be real huge, and it's going to allow me to adopt more cats. But my hopes and my goals are just to continue to save as many as I can. That's my whole mission in life, my whole goal in life, my whole purpose in life. Save as many animals as I can, get as many off the streets as I can. Like, I think everybody has a certain role in rescue. You know, you got people who are great at fostering. You got people who are great at TNR. I think I was put here to get them off the streets and defend them by any means. especially the dogs in my area. It's a very violent, dangerous area I grew up in, and I definitely think that God put me here to defend those dogs and get them off of those chains.
What advice would you give for anybody who was thinking about starting to do what you do? Because obviously it could be a little bit daunting if you don't know what to do. What advice would you give to someone to encourage them to believe that they too could make a difference?
I tell people all the time, whether people say, well, hey, I'm doing what you're doing, but not on your level. I feed 6 cats a day, and I've TNR'd 3. And I always tell them, I don't care if you've TNR'd 3 or 3,000, it's the same. It's the same. So you are on my level. If you feed 2 cats every day and you've only trapped 1 and gotten him fixed, you and I are equal in my eyes. That's how I view it. What I get a lot of times is, how can I start? I don't have the funds. Well, I didn't have the funds either in the beginning. How you start is just start. You just do it.
Yeah.
I don't care if you have to feed inexpensive food, and it's better than nothing. Inexpensive cat food is better than them having no food. So, whatever you can afford to feed them, you don't have to go get the most expensive $40 bag of cat food. Just do your best. And that's what I tell people. Just start, So you just have to start, and it'll eventually grow. Post videos, build a following, and you'll be surprised at the support you get. You won't get support if you're not posting what you're doing. People have to see that it's genuine. They have to see the work you're doing. They have to see where their money is going. And you'll be surprised of how it'll grow and how people are willing to help these animals. So I tell people all the time when they ask me, how do you start, or how can they start? And I just tell them, it's simple. Just start. Just start doing it. Start feeding. Borrow a trap. The Humane Society will loan you a trap. Somebody will loan you a trap. Just start trapping, and you'll be surprised of the people. Even if you don't have the money to get them spayed or neutered. Clinics will work with you. They have low cost spay and neuter for $10. Some are free here. So it's really no excuse. There's really no excuse to, get out here and help. And that's just how I view it.
So what would be your final words of inspiration or advice to our listeners?
Just keep doing, just be good to each other, love the animals, and help everybody in need. That's just what it's about, in my opinion. Just, if you see something, say something. If you see a dog being abused or tortured, please help that dog. Don't pass by and think somebody else will do it. You do it. It's got to be, sometimes I know it may be an inconvenience, but, maybe that's why God placed you there, to be that savior of that dog or that cat. So my final word to the listeners is, just treat everybody nice. Treat these animals nice. They have a hard enough time as it is. And I think we can all make an impact in this world in our own little way, just being kind to each other and helping these animals out. And please, TNR.
So thank you, Calvin, for your time today. I'm sure the listeners will really enjoy hearing about you and your story and journey that you've gone through life. We are so proud to share your story with our supporters here at Torrey Argentina. And our listeners can follow Calvin on Instagram, and you go by the name of Black Noah 1.
Yes, is at Black Noah 1.
Where in your bio, you'll find your link tree, and within your link tree, you can support Calvin's work. You have your DODO feature in there. You can have make a donation by PayPal, and you also have the Patreon as well in the link tree.
Correct.
So we will also share this on our social media when this podcast goes live. So thank you again so much, Calvin. Please continue the good fight for all of the animals around the world who need you. You're doing a fantastic job, and it's been such a pleasure to talk to you. And thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
My pleasure. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend.
You do the same.
Thank you so much, Calvin. Take care.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.
All right.
Bye-bye. Bye.